GM, we are live. I joined BBM with the intention of saying in the chat how many people we were waiting for, and I was number 12. So we're off and running. This is a BBM. Joel, GM to you. Likewise, Tiger Uppercut, GM to you. And yes, the NWO shirt. Yes. Yeah, NWO for life. It was a man, what a time. What a time to be a fan of professional wrestling. We were living through the golden age, and we didn't even know it then. But yes, I did rock the NWO shirt in the thumbnail today. Who Hames, sup fam, GM to you. Thanks so much for popping in this morning. Likewise, ATX Bearcat, GM to you. We're here in the 6 hole, so I really like the middle of the board. I like the way the drafts have been going. When you get the middle spots, it almost feels like I used to like being over on the right, and now I think I prefer this kind of 1 through 6, 5, 6 hole, where I really feel like you get an elite player in this range. And question is Justin Jefferson or CMC? And you know what? Let's take a CMC share. I'm not out on Jefferson, but I do love Christian McCaffrey. I want to be about 2x the field on him if possible. And right now, I think yesterday I checked, I was about 12-ish%. So we'll take a CMC share, even if that's at the expense of a Justin Jefferson share here. Yeah, RIP Bret Hart. Yeah, truly. Yes. I believe Aunt Xwall is correct there. All right. CMC goes to us at the 6 hole. I meant to tweet out that we're live, so let me just do that. We're live on the YT with some Underdog Best Ball. Come hang. All right. I probably need to work on my Twitter game, but you know what? That's the best that we can do on the fly. Looking over at the board. Don't think anyone's doing anything too unusual. In fact, this start looks straight out of the big board, with the exception of maybe me taking CMC at 6. CMC went later, but this Neighbors Nico, Amon Ra BTJ as the 9 through 12 is pretty much what happened with regularity. So very interesting to see us kind of coming full circle, at least in this one particular room. Hey, Greg, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. So yeah, let's see what we can get here with CMC. I do love me some Drake London. I'd love a CMC London team. I don't know if I've gotten that combo in a long time. Now that CMC tends to go in the front half of drafts, or at least around the 6, 7 hole. Greg says, Chop Robinson said he's fine. All is not lost before the season starts. All right. Maybe being a Dolphins fan is just a riot a minute. It's nonstop fun. I would not wish it upon anybody truly, but at least it is good that Chop Robinson's healthy. Let's go see. I feel like I have a lot of CMC lad teams. I could do CMC Bowers. I think I'm more into lad than Bowers. I know Big Bowers is going to get upset about that. And, the photos came out where he shaved his head and he looks like an absolute menace. So I do think that was a good move for him from a, aesthetic standpoint. I don't know if it's going to impact the game, but I think some people may have adjusted the ranks there. It's not great. No, Greg. No, great. It's not great. Joel says, did something happen to Bret Hart, or are we talking about Owen Hart? So Owen Hart died at the show, right? So now I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm confused. Huham says he heard those pictures were fakes. Let's see. Let's not spread fake news on this channel at 8:35 a.m. Bret Hart. No, Bret Hart's good. Bret Hart is alive. Bret the Hitman Hart is 68 years old, so he's still good. Owen Hart, however, is not with us anymore. So Joel, thank you for correcting us. I do appreciate that. Oh wait, the Bowers picture's fake? I fell for it, Who Hames? I fell for the Brock Bowers shaved head. Oh no. We got to readjust the ranks. At least I didn't take him. I didn't get fooled. I'm going to assume few is that you're actually not talking about Bret Hart being with us, but you were worried about Brock Bowers' hair. But yeah, no, good to hear that 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 Bret Hart is still with us. Yeah, I was watching live when Owen died. It was really sad. He was great. Yeah, yeah, that was yeah. Well, yeah, let's we'll get back to the draft here. Higgins going at 28. Uh-oh, what did I just click? Oh, I just clicked. So do we want to do a Josh Allen team or do we want to do MHJ? And I almost feel like let's do an elite quarterback. Let's do an elite quarterback. I want to get a little higher on the elite quarterbacks. I think I'm slightly below market on all of them. I don't want that. And so I'll take Josh Allen ADP and we'll start out with CMC, Ladd, and Allen. Crander, GM Creator 47, thanks so much for coming in, hanging out this morning. Who Ames asked if I'm back on Marshawn Lloyd. It's funny you ask. I did a late night BBM and I took Marshawn Lloyd with my last pick. So I am, unfortunately, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna get burned again. But yes, I actually did take Marshawn Lloyd just this last evening. It's so corny because like the beat writers, like he drew oohs and ahs from his teammates. It's like, all right, well, oohing and ahhing aside, I'm just happy that he's like healthy. But yeah, let me get the we'll do night driving this morning. I'm feeling like that. Superior pick Lloyd or Kendre? I think Kendre only because they did draft Devin Neal. So I feel like there's somebody there that they at least like enough to bring in as competition. Although, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Without Dennis Allen, Kendre might be slightly safer because there's not just like getting put on IR when you're healthy risk, which is still the funniest thing to me that's ever happened. He was finally healthy, and Allen's like, "Well, you haven't been healthy this whole time. Screw you. I'm putting you on IR anyway." It was a pretty good bit. Tiger Uppercut says it's wild to me that Marvin Harrison was going ahead of Allen / Lamar for so long. Yeah, I think people just realize that the elite QBs can truly separate. And, elite QB in 2025 is different from elite QB in like 2020 even. Like they really score a lot more than like the ones that can run and pass. Would have been, and now I kind of regret not taking him because I would have taken Jaden Daniels here, but that's okay. I have a ton of Jameson Williams. I still do like the click, but let's make this a George Pickens team. So far we've got Allen, CMC, Ladd, and Pickens. I like the way the team is shaping up. Thinking of potential stacks for Allen. I've never liked Khalil Shakir even before he got injured. So don't know if don't know if he's the route I'll go. Keon Coleman has risen quite a bit. His ADP is a little ahead of this 102 spot, but maybe we'll see if he falls. We could possibly do that. And then Dalton Kincaid could be in this pick 11, pick 12 range if we want to stack up Allen, just sort of thinking ahead. Let's see. Elite QB, Tiger Uppercut, Elite QB also helps against this 3 QB meta. Yeah, if you think it's a counter to that, then I guess that does make sense. I guess my problem is I'd go 3 QB elite anyway, or 3 QB even when I do elite quarterback. So Crander says last year elite QB kind of screwed you. Crander, I don't remember. I don't want to say that's not true. I just don't remember if that actually is the case. I don't know if you're talking week 17 specifically or overall, because I mean, I feel like all the elite quarterbacks, did pretty well. It just might not have been in week 17 when when you famously could get by with Drew Lock or Joe Burrow, like pocket passers kind of got there. Yeah, I just don't remember how I don't think Hurts went off. I can't remember how like Josh Allen did, or Lamar. Truly, I had Kendry in PBM finals. Burned me so bad. Yeah. I mean, many such cases with these dead roster spots that look so good, like these contingent upside bets that just don't pay off, just look very foolish. I mean, Will Shipley was a good pick, but he didn't give you anything at all. I think he probably would have. I think Gainwell probably still would have been the change of pace, passing down back, and Shipley would have stepped in, but Saquon was just like healthy the whole time. But I don't think that makes those guys like bad picks. GM Hartman, thanks so much for popping in this morning. Tiger Uppercut. Marvin also screwed you last year. Yes. At the 1-2 turn, we were taking him because we were so scared of getting burned. And then we're like, well, we don't want to miss out on the next Jamar Chase. And it didn't go well. Hartman says, I want to know where the Shakir Bulls are because someone was picking him. That's true, Hartman. Shakir's ADP to me is like Long John Silver still being in business. I don't know anyone who's been to a Long John Silver, like ever, but they're still in business. So what is it? I don't know. But that to me is Khalil Shakir's ADP. I've never seen anybody actually take him, but his ADP was up there. Artillery process. Mahomes was bad and Hurts got injured, but Allen was good and Lamar was one of the best advance rates. Yeah, I guess I wasn't counting Mahomes in the elite QB discussion there, but I mean, certainly possibly deserving of that. Interesting choice for me. I'd probably take Ricky Pearsall. If Ricky Pearsall goes, then I would probably have scrolled down to Golden or Pollard, but let's take Pearsall on this team to pair with CMC. So we've got a nice little bet on the Chargers. For the audio listeners, we've got Josh Allen, CMC, and then Ladd McConkey, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, and rookie Pearsall. So kind of playing the hits on this team. I'll pull the board up so people can see what's going on. Joe Burrow went to the Chase Brown drafter at pick 56. You do see that from time to time. So the Jamar Chase drafter loses out, and the T. Higgins drafter took Jaden Daniels, so they're probably not too upset. Hartman says Jaden and Baker really hurt the elite QB advance rates because they didn't separate. Yeah. Daniels was such a steal in the 9th, 10th round. I took a lot of him. He was responsible for most of the teams I had that made it to the semis and the finals. He was a big part of that. That was one of the things I did get right last year, was taking a ton of Daniels. And so I kind of missed the days of last year when we had a very good rookie QB class that was very undervalued. And I think part of my error this year in the big board was sort of just thinking that was going to happen again. So I have a lot of Cam Ward, which I'm very happy about, but I also have literally 17% Shedeur Sanders, which is not great. Which is truly actually something worse than not great. This is a crummy spot. I would have been happier had I taken a running back there. I don't really like David Montgomery. Pretty out on that. Aaron Jones. I guess we'll take Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason have been converging at ADP somewhat rapidly. I think it's going to be 1-2. I do still think Aaron Jones is kind of the one, but it's going to be very close. So I do think that the ADP should converge. Now, I would have probably liked Aaron Jones to kind of fall to Mason. Instead, it feels like they're both soaring up, which is not great. This feels like I'm getting it in kind of bad with Jones, but Aaron Jones is still a pretty good player as long as he's healthy there. Artillery Frost, Anthony Richardson was a bust also. Yeah. A-Rich did not go well. I stopped taking him at a certain point because the writing was kind of on the wall. And if you've ever played A-Rich in DFS, you'll know he's famous for you're 2 quarters in and he has 24 fantasy points and you're just I'm gonna win all the money, and then he just gets injured and leaves and you don't actually win all the money. Grander says they were fine, but they didn't distance themselves from the field. Yeah, as Hartman noted, that's probably a very heavily Jaden and Baker related, which is a good point. You could get Baker was going pretty late too. So that's that was a good point there. Be interesting to see if we get any of those pocket passers this year who kind of can pull that off. It's true, MHJ burned people who drafted him. Kendre started week 16 and missed 17 because of a concussion. Yeah, I remember the Kendre start week because of DFS. And he was super chalk. And now I'm like totally blanking on how that went. In my mind, it went badly. Like he wasn't good, but I could have that wrong. I mean, this feels like it was 1,000 years ago now. I love LJS. Long John Silver. All right. Who aims? You're keeping them in business. All right. Good. I was afraid it was just a money laundering front, but now that I know that people are going there, I don't need it often, but love when I do. All right. Who aims? That might be enough to get me into a Long John Silver. Look, we'll have to see. Let's see. What does this team need? Jalen Warren, I'm kind of tempted by. Hawkinson, I also quite like. I do have probably more Hawkinson than I'd care to admit. He's kind of been a comfy click in this range when I don't like any of the other options. I'm still out on Mixon, but I do think I'm a little behind on Warren, so let's take him. I know Hawkinson, I have Aaron Jones, so maybe it makes sense to bet on that, but I do think running back can get a little thin on me in this way. If this ends up being a 5 running back team for some reason, I'll feel a lot better about it. So we've got Josh Allen, CMC, Aaron Jones, and Jalen Warren, a wide receiver room of Lad McConkey, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, and Ricky Pearsall. Don't mind this team. Haven't gotten any big ADP values, but it's all right. Skeletor, GM just got in the bookie beatdown Discord chat. Awesome, Skeletor. I'll see you over there. For any of you who are into MMA, Paul Shaughnessy, Cody Safdie have a show, Bookie Beatdown, as well as a Patreon. If you're into MMA, those are the guys I think are they're really fun. They're great listen, and I think they know their stuff. Joel says, comparing Shakir to Long John Silver is a chef's kiss. Early favorite line of the day. All right, Joel, I'm glad to be the leader in the clubhouse because, I'm probably going to stream till around 10. I think I'm going to do 2 drafts, so probably around 9:45. But it's not going to get better from that. It's not going to get better. We've peaked. We have already peaked this morning at 8:48 a.m. Dirty Pete. It's fun to play is it chicken or is it fish game at LJS. Texture is the only difference. Well, but now I feel bad. I'm disparaging this, diehard Long John Silver community. Let me get the board back up and see what's going on. Kyler, if I had taken MHJ, I'd probably take Kyler. Mark Andrews, I really like Mark Andrews, but I think we just take Keon Coleman and we lock up this stack. I think that makes more sense on this team. I know we're not getting any great with Coleman, but I think that just makes sense on a Josh Allen team to do that. And we should be able to get a good tight end if that's the route we go at pick 115. And then maybe at 126, we look at picking up a quarterback. And by a quarterback, I mean Herbert. So let's see. We could also take Herbert at 115 if we feel the need, but I think his ADP should line up. There's no chance we get him. I don't know if the Harris. I don't believe Harris is gone yet. He's fallen enough to where he's not drafted. But sometimes the Harris drafter feels the need to be the to take Herbert there. Brock Purdy would have, of course, been a good choice, but I wasn't counting on him to cycle back to us. All right. Artillery Frost, when we thought Shedeur was going to go top 3, he wasn't a bad click. I don't think it was reasonable to project him going this far. Yeah, I don't think it was either. And I feel like the NFL is kind of like realizing that he's better than like a fifth round quarterback. And I also feel like his off the field stuff wasn't like he was like getting into trouble. It wasn't like he has like a rest. He just seemed like full of himself. Which, a hyper elite quarterback at a major college. Your dad's Deion Sanders. Like, I don't expect him to be like Mr. Humble, but I don't know. Anywho, it did feel like the fall was a little crazy. I would probably take Dak here. Actually, I didn't think Dak would come around, but if we get Dak, to have Dak and Josh Allen would feel pretty nice. If Dak goes, then I will definitely take one of these running backs, Loveland or Kraft. You could argue that Loveland or Kraft would be a better pick than Dak, but I'm also okay going the late tight end route. I think there's some good options there that I'm not super upset about. Yeah, so let's go Dak. Let's go Dak Pickens. I think that's kind of fun. So we've locked up our a secondary stack there. Now I would say I probably won't take Ladd, and I'll prioritize getting a late Cam Ward share. That's going to be kind of my thought process. I still like 3 QB builds, but if it ends up just being Dak and Allen, I'm perfectly okay with that too. I'm not going to force a third QB on to this team. Bruce K, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out, lay the house RM. It's a good day to have a good day, isn't it? It's the BMW Championship is happening in here in Baltimore. I say here in Baltimore, it's technically Owings Mills, and it's like a 30-minute drive from Baltimore, but Baltimore area. I went in 2011. Beautiful course. I have not gotten to play it, but I would love to. And really fun, really long course, very long. Even though it's long, I think the winner was shot minus 27. Patrick Cantlay beat Bryson in a playoff, and that was super fun. But anyway, I know you all don't care about that, but if you're into golf, it is a fun tournament, and it should be nice to watch on TV. It was a very pretty course. Ray Davis goes, which is interesting. No. We take Ferguson. I forgot we had Dak for a second. So let's take Fergie because we needed a tight end. I hope some of you might have been interstellar screaming at me to get Ferguson, so I'm glad I didn't disappoint you. I do want another running back in this range. Again, Herbert did come to me, but I think, again, that this is a team where I'm okay. I'm okay pushing that third quarterback or even just not getting one at all. Artillery Frost says Burrow, I think, was the best QB advance rate. Interesting. I wonder if that's because of Burrow or because you had Higgins and or Chase typically tied to him. That's like my immediate could be 70 IQ take on that. I'm also like, don't take much Burrow, so this could be Giga Cope. But I'm just wondering. I mean, Burrow was fine, but I don't. He had a lot of weeks where he didn't go nuke every week. So I don't know. Hush Puppies says best ball on call. GM2 best ball on call. Thanks so much for coming in. Huhaim says Long John Silver is what you eat before you're about to go on a diet. Free cleanse. Yeah. I feel bad that I disparaged Long John Silver, but Huhaim, so far you are the one person. I actually haven't heard anyone else in the chat who has said they're here eating Long John Silver. Isn't Shakir on track for week 1? ATX Bearcat says, I haven't heard, but I didn't like him anyway. Like, I feel like they have a lot of people that do what he does. He doesn't score touchdowns. He doesn't separate. I don't know. I've just never liked Shakir even before, and this is just giving me an excuse. Tiger Uppercut says balanced build. Yeah, I like this. Team Bruce had a Long John Silver before colonoscopy. Yeah, I mean, you got to give your I don't know what kind of doctor does colonoscopies, but you give your doctor make him or her earn their pay there. HX Bearcat, the malt vinegar made the fish edible. Enough malt vinegar, I think Shiger was being punished for being Dion's son. I mean, certainly some element to that. I mean, it can't just be on the field because I think he was a good enough prospect. If Herbert is here with my next pick, I think I'm just going to take him. As much as I do like Cam Ward, there's a chance that I try to push Ward and then I don't get anybody. All right, so Herbert goes. That's fine. Could take Goddard or Pitts. The running backs in this range are freaking terrible. This is really ugly, folks. You know what? I'm gonna take Dallas Goedert. I can tell myself this is a Week 17 bring back for Josh Allen. I don't really like Sampson. I'm starting to think Judkins isn't going to play. I don't take Rachaad White anymore, and now I'm into like blind people and pure contingent backup. So I'm, I don't know. This is a range where if you need a running back, I feel like you're kind of in a world of pain. I wonder why this guy took Herbert there, because I don't think he had anything to do with Herbert, and he had Reed, so we could have taken Love. But you know what? We all we all do things our own way. All right, Crander says the pre-draft visits he torched, literally told a couple teams he didn't know why he was there because he was going to be off the board and didn't take it. I did hear some things about that, like that he was like playing music in his headphones during those interviews. I guess I just found that hard to believe that anyone would do that. I would feel very awkward if I was in an interview and I had headphones on. I would be crawling out of my skin. But hey, Grander says, yeah, I remember. I don't think it was the way you handle it. Wait, round 10 is too far. Yeah, Greg, I can't believe I got up for golf talk. Sorry, you got rugged. This is we're converting to a golf channel as the season ends. Cam Ward goes one pick before me. That's pretty sweet. Guys. So we don't get either of our guys, and now we're kind of in this clunky range. I'll take a Tyler Algier share as some contingent upside. That was a little disappointing. I was really hoping to get Cam Ward on this team because I do love the Ward Ridley pick, but alas, it does not happen for us. Again, I don't know why this guy took Herbert there. That just seems bad. All right. But regardless, we soldier on. We've got a 2-4-5-2 with Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, running back room of CMC, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Tyler Algier, a wide receiver room of Lad McConkey, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, not Ricky Person, Keon Coleman, and then a tight end room of Jake Ferguson and Dallas Goedert. So I like the team so far. Who knows? Maybe it's a blessing that we didn't get the third quarterback, because maybe Dak and Allen are all you need. Greg asks, fifth was too far in my opinion. I feel like people can work on character issues. Who's your guy this weekend? I think it's going to be someone who hits it long and straight, and that's, I'm going to say Aberg. I have like on my DK card like Aberg, and then I can't believe I'm going to be the fool going back to Cam Young again. Who it took 3 years for him to win, and now I'm like, oh no, he's going to do it twice in 3 weeks. But I'm going back to Cam Young. I think he's just on fire, and I think the way the course plays is going to be good for guys like Aberg and Young, or Oberg rather. Although, Oberg can chip himself out of a mini golf tournament. Bruce K says, multi-billion-dollar companies don't punish people because they don't like their father. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like they give second chances to like a lot worse guys, and are willing to overlook character concerns to win. Let's take Dante Thornton on this team, because I do want a little treat. No, I'm not. I'm actually going to take Corey Krosky-Merritt. I do like Thornton, but I did want to get another running back on this team, and I think there's really a chance that Krosky-Merritt takes over that job by the end of the season. The drumbeat is getting pretty loud on him, and my second and third running backs are timeshare guys, and Algier's pure contingent. So I think I want a bigger swing at running back versus my receiver room that I'm feeling pretty good about. If Thornton's hitting my lineup, either Thornton is like literally who you need to win BBM, or this team was like dead anyway. With that, so we'll add that to the team. I mean, if I really had to force a third quarterback, I could do I could do like Darnold, or I could do Rodgers, but I don't know if that's the route that I necessarily need to go on this team. I like Diami Brown. I could do Torrey Horton here again and do like Horton and Darnold. That's another drumbeat that's growing. But let's take another guy that could be kind of outkick his coverage with draft capital and take Woody Marks here. So let's do that. Burrow was also round 9 or something, not 6. Yeah, it was totally different. Who Hames? I agree with you there on that, and I think we're just taking Burrow too high. And what we're going to do next year, we're just going to chase whatever pocket passer smashed way up higher than they should go, and like the cycle will continue. Like we were taking Justin Herbert in the 5th round like a couple of years ago. Maybe it was 3 years ago now, and it's like, yeah, these pocket passer bets need a lot to go right to like pay off. Bruce K says, I played Caves Valley candidate for Cantlay too. I'm a pro golf caddy. Bruce K, that's awesome. Not on tour, but it's my profession. That's so cool. Yeah, I was there when Cantlay. I went on the Saturday, so it was Cantlay, Rahm, and Bryson were paired, and I think Rahm fell off. I don't think he finished high, but it was cool seeing those guys just launch it an absolute mile, and so that was cool. And I like Cantlay. I Cantlay is he's just stone cold. I don't think he's the biggest fan favorite, but he's like I do like the guy. And I think you always get value on him betting because people don't like betting on Cantlay. Although this year has not been Cantlay's year. We'll see. I think he's going to be on the Ryder Cup. I think he will be on the Ryder Cup team and hopefully shows out there. Greg says, I'd love for Ben Griffin to force his way onto the Ryder Cup team with the win. Yeah, getting the new blood on the Ryder Cup team is so exciting. So I'm with you there. Any of those young guys, I would take that. Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Gosh, being a caddy, it sounds like a really hard work, but it sounds like a cool job. Tieran says, Long John Silver feels like money laundering business. I don't know who's going in there. Tieran, the only reason I didn't say that is because I did not want to get sued for libel by Long John Silver's Inc. And I imagine that their lawyer is actually like Davy Jones or something. And I got a lot of things to deal with in my life, and I just can't have that on top of it. All right, so let's keep listening to the drum beat. Let's take Torrey Horton here. Let's make Torrey Horton our last receiver, and then we'll queue up. Actually, I say last receiver. I'll probably take one more after that, but we'll take we will take one more tight end and one more wide receiver, and then get on to another one. All right. Tier, it seems like you may have been right on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt all along. Tieran says, when I saw the tape, it was clear. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah, I mean, the drum beat. I thought Long John Silver went bankrupt out here, not in California. I don't know. They're still advertising like endless shrimp. A lot of shrimp. On real time, hashtag QBs matters. Absolutely. I'm with you there on real time. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. Is it really a Chad Candles team without the backsack third quarterback? I am so itchy right now. I am so itchy, Hartman. Could take Aaron Rodgers. We could take Aaron Rodgers and some dust ball third receiver. Makes you think. What if Aaron Rodgers and Pat Freiermuth are what you need? I'm so tempted to click it because these what is Darius Slayton doing on this team that's not being done by the other people? Hartman, you're like walking into a rehab center with just like bales of drugs under your arms with that comment. So let's try to get Pat Freiermuth on the team, and we'll see. And then yeah. So anyway, Huhaim says, I thought he looked good, but he didn't pop to me. I only watched him one day. Sometimes if I go back and watch a second, it changed my mind. I think this is about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Hartman, overpriced QB will be Ron Dakota Prescott next year. Rain, sorry. Yeah. It's possible. It's certainly possible. I mean, you add Pickens, you have Pickens, Lamb. I think Ferguson's pretty good. You have, Turpin. He'll probably catch a screen pass and take it 90 yards. I mean, you could get some really outsized stats from Dak this year. I'm pretty into Dak, and I don't think I have enough in BBM. Long Chad Candles, yeah, the Long John Silver rebrand. Long Chad Candles. Tierrance, who says Tierrance? I have a hard time putting him above ATM, but I understand they're different bets. God, these acronyms in the morning. I don't know who I'm stumped. I'm sorry, Hames. I'm not sure who ATM is, and I should know. Yeah, Greg says, Chad, GM, everyone. Hey, Al Boogie, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in. Hames saying what up to Boogie. 15 more limbs, and I'm done trying to finish before they turn to slows. Hames says 69 eliminators, debating how many more I'll do. I wish I had done more. But I did not. I have 39 eliminators done, I think. I think I'm just short of 40. Lay the House RM's got 5 eliminator drafts left. I'm going to be so jealous of you guys on Twitter when you're like sniping at each other because you're playing heads up and it's like super fun. And I'm in the SpongeBob, looking up at you guys with 0 teams left because I didn't get any volume down. So we'll take Pat Freiermuth. On this team. So we've got a 3-6-6-3 with Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and Aaron Rodgers. Running back room of CMC, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Tyler Algier, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and Woody Woodrow. I don't think his name's Woodrow. I actually think his name is something not even close to Woody. Woody Marks, Ladd McConkey, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, Keon Coleman, and Torrey Horton. Here's who, with a tight end room of Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, and Pat Freiermuth. I don't think this team looks a whole heck of a lot better if Aaron Rodgers is a random 4th receiver. I really don't. So we will continue. To be 3 QB pilled until proven otherwise. But if Rodgers wasn't there, or I didn't already have Warren, I don't think I would have forced Rodgers and just the tight end. But I think that I'm just seeing visions of the Warren Rodgers check down actually mattering. So let's hop in one more BBM, and then I will make way. I believe Davis is streaming a big dog at 10 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is going on. But off we go. Lay the House RM says, I can't wait for all my teams to be dead in week 5. I know the math is I think you're coin flipping to be alive in week 8 if you max it, something like that. It is crazy. And we're stressing out about oh no, I have too many week 10 buys. It's brother, this team is probably long dead before then. Not to say that you shouldn't play your team's going to make it all the way. You have to. You play these things to win the contest. But it is kind of funny. Bruce says, but they look so good right now. Yeah, I know. On paper, these teams all look so fun. And then you look back at them in mid-November and you're like, dear God, why was I taking Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the 3rd string running back on Washington? But I know. I don't mean to use him as an example, but sometimes we have these rookie bets and we project roles to them and it does not go well. Huham says, lay the house. Same. I slowed down when the Rice pre-deal happened. I was at 24% Rashi at that point at the 2-3 turn. Oh, that's brutal. It's a brutal run out. Again, I think it's going to depend on how long that suspension is. Lay the House RM. They need to add a live chat so we can talk each week. Yeah, that would be a really fun feature if you could do that rather than having to snipe at them on Twitter. Fantasy Football Garage GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. Al Boogie says we got Twitter. We can make diss track. No, stop. The diss track era is over. We cannot live our lives like that. All right. I looked at my exposures earlier and I was slightly lighter on Gibbs than the other guys at the top. So I'm going to take Gibbs here. This is not, let me look. I should I have looked before I did this? Absolutely. But I didn't. So we're going to look now and see. if I go to exposure and I do $25 drafts. So let's see. Lamb, we got 8.6% Lamb. We got 8.6% Gibbs. Okay, so I actually took Gibbs last night. That's probably why it's even. And Saquon. We got 11% Saquon. And Bijan, of course, I couldn't have gotten. We got 9% Bijan. I'm actually light on Jamar Chase, and that's because I just haven't gotten the 101. I've taken Jamar Chase every time. I've taken him every time at the 101. I just haven't gotten it enough, so I'm underweight on Chase, which is not the best feeling. I really would like that to be at market, but you can't control the RNG gods. I have not done any board flips from the one hole in BBM, so yep. Let's see, J-Dub. So I think we've got Mr. Worth in here. He takes Nico at the 9. I don't think I see anybody else in here. Alboogie, I really wish they'd announce his suspension so I can stop clicking him. Alboogie, have they ever suspended someone during this season? I'm sure they have. And then Huames immediately says not for something off the field. I'm like, yeah, obviously Huames is like, no. I'm trying to think. I thought the Ray Rice stuff happened in season. I guess that's the example, but maybe that was before the year. And it was before the year because no, I don't know. That was just the one that was coming to mind. I thought there was something wonky that happened like as the season was going along. Lay the House says you have to allow the wife to draft one team in BBM. I have thought about having like someone on, like either my wife or someone else who has never done best ball and just see what team, just be at the helm and have them say who to draft and maybe just give some guidance, like, take something like a 3-5-7-3, just give them a rough structure so they don't take like 5 tight ends or 5 quarterbacks or something, completely dead, and just see what players they take. I think that would actually be pretty funny. Huames says, like, some weird things have happened with Rice or Ridley, but the team punished, not the NFL. Okay. Yeah, the NFL punishment came the following season, I believe. Okay, Huames, that sounds right. Thank you. Because yeah, I like legitimately couldn't think of an example. Have the kid do it. My kid is obsessed with the color purple. He loves purple. So if I'm drafting on my phone, I have to click the quarterback tab and he lights up. He's like, purple. So he might have a little gritty in him because he would just take a bunch of quarterbacks as soon as possible. All right, so we've got Jahmyr Gibbs. Interesting choice. Do we go robust RB or do we take one of these wide receivers? I almost feel like we'll do Gibbs, Chase, Brown. That seems kind of fun. I don't know if I have a Gibbs, Chase, Brown team, but we do now. So we've got Gibbs, Chase, Brown. I thought about taking Higgins and then try to pull off the Burrow push, but the Burrow push has just been so hard to do this as the I don't want to say casuals, but as the casuals have come, it's become like really tough to pull off. And I think I've tried it with Gibbs before, so we'll take Chase Brown and see how it goes. Yeah, that Lamar and Alan Daniels team will go hard. Yeah, I should have had him do Badge Bros Brawl with me, because then we might have been able to do it. You know what? Let's take Tyreek. Let's take Tyreek on this team. A true possible wide receiver 1. He's dealing with an oblique injury, but it sounds like that's mostly precautionary. Obliques always scare me because they tend to linger. They take longer to heal than you'd think. But I'm hoping that it truly is something minor. The vibes on Miami and Hill are not good. They're not good at all. But that said, I don't want to be totally out on Tyreek and the Dolphins. He is one of those like extinction event kind of players where he could just absolutely nuke a slate in the playoff weeks. and you're pretty dead if you don't have him. He is on the list of players that I could see doing that. As uncomfortable as the click is in August, there is a chance that he is who you need in December. I think, it's just very tempting to like click Higgins, Wilson, or Harrison over him at this point. But I just don't want to be completely out on that. Tyreek scares me in general. Did you see a rumor about a Reek Terry trade? Well, that was the other thing that I was thinking, is that if he gets traded, who's to say that's bad? Like, he could just end up in a better environment. So would that be bad for like Tua Tyreek stack? Sure, but there is a chance that Tyreek could get much greener pastures there. I don't know how I'd feel about a Tyreek Terry trade. I imagine pretty good. Like, I feel like if he became the wide receiver 1 in Washington, that would be kind of a wheels up situation there. But I don't think Tyreek is I don't think he's like in the doghouse so deep that he's like at risk of losing playing time or anything. Like, McDaniels fighting for his job. Like, he can't just like afford to just not play Tyreek because Tyreek made comments at the end of the season or whatnot. Speaking of, however, teams my son would have drafted, this Allen Lamar team is firmly in the mix there. That is, so it's something to keep an eye on in this room as far as quarterbacks potentially being a little thinner, someone going double elite. QB here, Tyreek with Jaden is the stuff dreams are made of. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that could be really fun. It's just, it feels like you could have Tyreek moving from an offense where they like shuttle him around in clever places to Washington, where they don't move McLaurin around. He just like stands on the right side of the field. And so I don't know. I think that the Daniels Hill thing could be exciting. I just sometimes I didn't love the way that they utilized McLaurin exactly. But let's see. Breece Hall has been a precipitous faller in drafts with the scary preseason usage. Worthy goes, Pickens goes. It looks like Jameson Williams is already gone, unless I'm like totally missing that. DJ Moore, man, it's like I don't want to get no DJ Moore, but like I also really don't want to click DJ Moore. I guess I'll click DJ Moore. Not really the most comfy click these days. Some of these other guys feel a lot more exciting. I wouldn't mind Ridley. We'll rank it like this, and I guess I would take Breece Hall at 51. But even there, I'm getting a little queasy. I have enough Breece Hall. All right, Breece Hall goes. I mean, that could be a big value, but I'm definitely sketched out by the Breece Hall usage. And if Braylon Allen just is literally the goal line back, and then they're splitting the other carries in like some kind of three-headed monster, then Breece Hall really might be a bad pick in the first 4 rounds. I don't know. It's getting a little frightening there. I think my preference is Ridley over Metcalf a little bit. I'm very excited about the Ward Ridley thing. I would love for this to be a Ward team, having failed on that last time. But let's see. Where am I picking? At 146, 147. So maybe 147. We could look at Mr. Ward. He goes at 153. So it would be a little early, but I could potentially think about that. Otherwise, we've got Tua and Caleb as potential stacking partners. So let's pull the board up. Let's see what people did. So this guy did attempt to push Burrow. The Higgins guy didn't snag Burrow there, so maybe he'll be the one. And the guy who went double elite QB also took Rashee Rice. not how I would build a double elite QB team, because now you also have, you have 2 out of your first 4 picks cannot hit your lineup in week 1. I think, I mean, I don't know, or even through the first 4 weeks at best. Like, you really got to draft well. You got to draft your ass off at the end to make this work. Especially just taking Rashee Rice. I don't think you can afford to do that when you go double elite QB. Tyler, GM, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out with us, Tyler. Really appreciate the support. And again, I have not asked for this, but it's 51 minutes in. If you could please like and subscribe to the channel, that would really do me a solid there. I'm not even going to check what the like-o-meter is at, but I trust you guys to just, to bring that to soaring higher. But thank you, Dirty P, +1 to fire a Husky. You can get in that Husky with Dirty P over there, folks. If I had time for a 3rd draft today, I would love to do a Husky, but alas, I will have to call it after this. And Steve Schaup, GM to you, thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate you guys. There's a bunch of people who do great stuff streaming. Who Hames, just looking at the chat here, Who Hames has a fantastic streams at 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday, I think, and then also sometimes on the weekends. Steve over on the Fanspeak Network, they are fantastic. Absolutely would follow that. They're just churning out such good content. And Tyler is everywhere. Tyler has over on the Fantasy Sanctuary, they're one of the best values to subscribe on YouTube. I think their YouTube sub is like $1. I would, definitely support them there. Also, Tyler can be found on the Typhoon Tower, the most toxic fantasy football show on the internet, but also one of the most entertaining. So I would check those out. Bruce, thanks for the reminder on like. I forgot. Hey, thanks. No worries, Bruce. Appreciate you getting that in there. All right, let's see what we've got. Of course, the time we don't take Higgins, it looks like Burrow may have come to us. That's the way she goes. To me, I think this is Pacheco or Golden. Interesting choice here for me. So Burrow does go, but I think that was the Higgins guy. Let's take Pacheco here. I don't think Golden's gonna come back around, but I'm pretty in on Pacheco this year. I think the running backs behind him are just complete dust. And he was looking good until he got injured. He looks good in camp. I think we don't have to worry about like Brashard Smith taking his job. I'm actually quite worried about my Brashard Smith shares. I'm pretty into Pacheco in this range of the draft. If we can get Golden here, that is huge. So I think my preference here would be Golden, Addison, then Judy. I'm pretty light on Judy. Maybe need to catch up a little there, but I will absolutely not pass Golden at 75 if he is available. B Grandy, I'm late, but GM. No worries, B Grandy. The attendance sheet has already gone around, but whoever's last, please pass it over to Mr. B Grandy. But yes, thank you so much for coming in, and maybe you're the good luck charm, because we do get Matthew Golden on the team. So for the audio listeners, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco. Wide receiver room of Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, and Matthew Golden. I have to say, I absolutely love this start. Let's hope that we can actually get some QB stacks, find some tight ends we like, and maybe we got something cooking here. Tieran says, did you see the randomizer with Pete playing Matic and Matic playing Pete? I haven't laughed that hard in a while. That was the funniest content I've seen this year. It was so good. It was so good. I agree. I have not laughed at something on the internet that hard in a long time. Dirty P. Dirty P, what have you done? You got Steve in your room. Yeah. You definitely would have been better waiting for the random August casual, and instead you got Steve Schaup in there. So good luck there. Steve, who famously finished 4th in the big board, the truest test of ball knowing. God's game. as Davis once described the big board. It truly is, and it's also I made the final in it last year, so I of course I'm in on the big board, but I did not fare as well as Steve there. But anyway, good luck there, Dirty P. Hartman, I thought we were supposed to be bullish on Pritchard. What happened? I think he was the 13th running back to enter the game in preseason. No, I think it was that he came in. The usage wasn't great. I don't know. Some of the I don't know if it was the beat report. My Twitter feed turned bearish on Pritchard, so I'm a little nervous. I have massive bags of him, so if he's good, I'm good. But at this point on August 14th, I think I'm clicking some other names down there. Now, obviously, if I have a Mahomes team, I'm a little more interested, or if I have like a Knicks team and I'm looking for a bring back. But I do think there was a little bit of Pritchard FUD going around. Steve reminds us though that it's 3 of 12, so we can both advance. That is true. That is the nice thing about the Husky, is it has a friendly advance team. Yeah, Hartman says, yeah, I saw the beat. He's not a lock to make the team. Didn't think much of it. Yeah, sometimes these beat reporters who are watching like just are not ball knowers. And I'm not trying to insult beat reporters, because there's a lot of really fantastic ones, but some of them like don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what the team's practicing, and then they watch a player who's trying to do one thing, they scored a 70-yard touchdown. And then another one. I don't know. I don't always trust the beat reporters to like give the most accurate assessment of what's going on in camp. Thinking about quarterbacks, the one that would come up soonest would be Caleb, if we want to go that route. I don't know that we do want to go that route. Travis Kelce is interesting, because then I could get Kelce, Pacheco, build a little bet on Kansas City. There's a few of these receivers who I think are reasonable range names. Mark Andrews, I like. What do we want to do here? I think I'll just take Travis Kelce. I think that seems fine. Let's get Kelce on the team, and then take whatever the room is providing to us. Running backs getting thin. Charbonnet's been moving up boards. He could potentially be a pick here. I don't love Etienne, but I'm willing to see the vision on that particular pick. I don't know if I would prefer a 5th receiver over a 4th running back, though. I think if I went a 4th running back, then I could stop at 5. I could pretty comfortably stop at 5 backs with Gibbs, Brown, and Pacheco, although my bye weeks would be kind of wonky with 2 week 8s and 2 week 10s. I don't know if that's just me looking for reasons to not take Travis Etienne. Let's see what the room gives to us. Dirty P says at least a few spots between us, Steve. Yeah. If Steve's right next to you, you might you might miss out on your guys, depending on who those guys are. All right, Mark Andrews goes. I think I just take Michael Pittman here. I think Michael Pittman is kind of undervalued. He's, short of injury, he's been a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. I want to say we were taking him in the 4th or 5th round last year, or maybe it was the year before. And we're getting him at a deep discount because he hurt his back, which now is healthy, and we're kind of tired of taking him. I don't know. I'm fine clicking Pittman. I don't think he's. I don't remember Jacob's exact chart, but he must be very far in the right wing chart, because nobody is taking Michael Pittman in this streaming streets, or at least if they are, they're not touting him. Hartman, beat reporters need to report something. Also, fantasy relevant guys get more social media. That is true. If when they're like when I'm reading like Coach Speak Index and it's like a defensive player, I'm just like I don't care. Like and so if it was a tweet about a defensive player, I'm just like, sure, not my problem. J Dubs here. Let's check in on him. So he went Collins, Genty, JSN, Xavier Worthy, Travis Hunter, Chris Olave, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, and Travis Etienne. I like the team going on there so far. like the team. Lay the house. Do we think Kelsey's ADP is going to go up after the podcast last night? I mean, that's why I clicked him. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. The casual player does not need much of a nudge to take players they've heard of. So it is possible. Maybe we'll get it in good with the Keon Coleman shares there. All right, so we're coming up on our first QB decision. Do we? I mean, he may not even come to us, but do we want to be a Caleb team with DJ Moore? I'm generally not that big on Caleb. I don't think Loveland would go back around. This guy has 2 tight ends. This guy has 1. But we do have to, if Matt Deacon takes a tight end. So Tucker Kraft goes. I definitely would have considered taking Kraft and Love, but that option does not avail itself to me. I could take Caleb and then hope one of Loveland or Burden comes around and make a big stack. And then if that doesn't happen, then I could take Love anyway, because I do have Golden on the team. I don't know about Ramondre. I love Scatabo. My bags are packed. It's very hard for me to pass on him, but I think the mature thing to do would be to take something else on this team. But let's see what the room gives us. So Mims goes. Mims, I think, is going to be a riser with his preseason usage being fairly positive. Let's see what Matt Deacon does here. Let's see what Matt Deacon does. He takes Herbert. Kind of interesting. So maybe we'll take Caleb and then hope we get one of Loveland or Burden here. Maybe you could argue I should have taken Loveland or Burden because this guy was unlikely. But if I take Loveland, this guy could double tap Caleb and Loveland, or Caleb and Burden, and then I feel kind of like an idiot. So, and I don't really want that. So let's take Caleb first. I think that's fine. We paired it with DJ Moore. If somehow Loveland and Burden go, maybe we could just take Jordan Love, or we could just take I was going to say slot demon there or some other option. But in the ideal world, we'll get one of these guys. And then the question is, do we want Loveland or do we want Burden? And that's a little bit of a tough choice. I think I'd lean Loveland if I get the opportunity there, because then maybe we just stop at 2 tight ends. So let's do that. Let's take Loveland on this team. So for the audio listeners, we've got a 1-3-5-2. We've got Caleb at QB, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco at running back, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, Michael Pittman at receiver, and then Kelsey and Loveland at tight end. So I like the way the team is shaping up. Hopefully we can make some things happen. All right. Steve says the prognosis on Pittman sounds better, but part of the issue is he's missed a fair bit of camp with a groin injury, but now his outlook is way better than some of the other injured wide receivers, Shakir, Mooney, etc. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I was kind of discounting the groin thing, but maybe I shouldn't, right? Because he did miss time with the back stuff. So it's like, yeah, they give veterans deference and rest, but that really might not have been the case with Pittman because I don't know, they probably want him there as much as possible, especially with the QBs being so in flux. So I guess I see the concern, but I wasn't too worried about the groin stuff. Hartman, Loveland with your build IMO. Okay, cool. I'm glad I saw that too late, but I'm glad we're in the same boat. This guy, my God, let's check in on the 2-hole. The 2-hole has Allen, Jackson, and Mahomes. And the 2-hole also has Laporta, Andrews, and Goddard. Their 3 wide receivers are Rashee Rice, Devonta Smith, and Jalen McMillan. What are we doing, 2-hole? Their running backs are Bijan and Mixon. And so, like, I get the idea of week 17 is all that matters, but like, you're not gonna make it, dude. Like, you're not gonna get there. I'm sorry. It's just crazy. Paying the rake. Yeah. I don't know. That is an absolutely wild team that person is constructing there. I will say that. So I think I'm really going to try to stop at 2. I think I'm going to try to stop at 2 tight ends here with Kelsey and Loveland. RM covers. He's living, man. I know. I shouldn't say anything because, we all live our lives. We all want to escape the rat race. We don't want to be told what to do. And I respect somebody who goes against the grain. However, I do also want people to be okay. And I'm worried about this guy. That's Gritty's cousin's account. Yeah. I like Gritty. Like I unironically, like I really like that there are people willing to push the envelope on builds and do stuff that's unorthodox. I think that's good for the game. I think it's fun. I just took Tua there because I have Tyreek, and this guy with 3 quarterbacks really might take a 4th quarterback. And I didn't want that stack, but there are things you can do that are just like objectively terrible. And I think that the 2 hole has crossed into that range. But yeah, I mean, I think we can be a little too orthodox with our structures and our rules. And, I think what did the guy who got second in the puppy 2 had like 4 quarterbacks or 5 quarterbacks, something like that. Maybe even, I think it might've been like 5 when Razor won the fast puppy. He had 4 or 5 tight ends. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I know it was something that the like best ball poobahs tell you not to do. So I do appreciate the people that are willing to like break the mold and do different stuff, but you can descend into madness, and I think that's what's happened. Let's take Cam Ward. This room is starved at quarterback, and let's make it worse for everybody else. There's going to be a lot of teams scrambling at quarterback now. This guy not only took 3 quarterbacks, he took 3 good ones. We've stacked our top 3 receivers here. We've stacked Tyreek, Moore, and Ridley. So I'm perfectly happy to have this team. I quite like this team. For the audio listeners, we've got a 3-3-5-2. We got Caleb, Tua, and Cam Ward, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco. Wide receiver room of Tyreek, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, and Michael Pittman Jr. So pretty happy with the way this team looks. Let's see, our friend Jay Dobbs, he heeded the warning, and he took Love and Penix last time and took Bryce Young there. And let's see, do you have, I couldn't remember if you were the Ted McMillan drafter, so I just was checking. But if you wanted a 3rd quarterback, last chance saloon is upon us. Yeah, Matt Stafford goes to this guy who had no quarterbacks. So it's this is an interesting room here. Joel says the 2 hole wrecking the QB market for the rest of us. Well, if you're not paying attention, you could get absolutely bullied in here, as Greg notes, a bunch of bullies in here. Well, you know what? You could either you're either beating the system or you're letting the system beat you, and I had to do it here. Jake Vinegar notes Razor had the famous 4-7-5-2 build with Gesicki and Mayer and one of the wide receivers, Gabe Davis, and it got there. So, you know what? Good on him. And yeah, again, 4 quarterbacks. It worked. Aaron Rodgers with the weirdest thumbnail, by the way. This like to me doesn't look like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers with the weird thumbnail at pick 159 to the guy who only had Stafford. So the QB panic has set in. This Maritime law guy, he is sitting there in his boat, wondering what happened. But hopefully he stays afloat over there. Speaking of sinking, the position players in this room have gotten really bad. I don't want Judkins, Harris. Eckler's fine, but he just feels so capped. I know I just took a JCM share. I don't like Jalen Wright. I think Jalen Wright sucks. I think Ollie Gordon might eat his lunch by the end of the season. So I am going to take a cross-scheme merit share. Also, I have Gibbs, Chase Brown, and Pacheco. I made my bet early with early running backs there, so I'm going to take some I'm going to take some rookie upside swings in this room. We'll take a couple more wide receivers. There's not great late receivers. There's darts, but there aren't anyone who have any great deal of certainty you're going to play for stacking purposes. So I think it would just kind of be more best player available in that department. Dyami Brown, I always like. Alec Pierce is interesting. You know, he could potentially go with Pittman over there. Some beat reporter was saying that Parker Washington could potentially take Dyami Brown's job, and I don't. After all the hype that Dyami got early in the season, that just seems like fake news to me. I always like QJ. I think QJ is I think I'm just going to click QJ here in the range of this receiving room. I don't think he's at risk from the Keenan stuff that much. So I'm perfectly happy to take a QJ share this far past ADP. I haven't seen him fall that much with the Keenan signing, but I'll add him to the team and feel pretty good about this wide receiver room. For the audio folks, we've got Caleb, Tua, and Cam Ward. Running back room of Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Wide receiver room of Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, Michael Pittman Jr., and Quentin Johnston. And then Travis Kelce and Colston Loveland at tight end. I like the team so far. Feel like it's pretty good. J-Dubs, he added Bryce Young, Tyler Algier, and he is up. He is on deck. All right. Rodgers looks like Betch. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look right. Harmon asks, when will Ray Zanny appear on a Chad Candles stream? So far I've only ever had one guest, and that was Bindles hopped on impromptu. But we're open to we're certainly open to a rotating guest slot, and it could be Ray. It could be Ray. All right, Tyler Algier goes. Jerome Ford goes. And let's see. Thinking about our last 3 picks, we'll probably take one more receiver and 2 more running backs. And we'll take it from there. We'll just take the best player available at those positions. Let's see. Running back can get kind of thin. So we'll see if we prioritize that or if we go the receiver route. I guess it'll just kind of depend. Greg asked a great question. What are the plans for regular season, Chad? Going to keep the AM stream going? I think I'm planning to. I plan to, and I'll probably just run BRs. My first streams were actually BR streams. I would stream for 2 hours to literally 0 people. And so if I can do that, I certainly can stream in the AM to you all as the season goes on. I don't know if it'll be Monday through Friday. Hartman Chad is really a BR guy. Yeah, I think I'm probably better at BR than best ball. I love the game theory of BR. They're just such quick hitter drafts. I like that you can kind of plan almost a whole draft out and try to hit that. And so I'm pretty into I am pretty into BRs. So if you stuck around for this, you might be and you want to do BRs. I'd love to hang out and talk BRs with you guys, because I think that is such a fun format. All right, I'm just gonna play the hits and take Dyami Brown, or am I gonna take Torrey Horton? No, I'm gonna take Dyami Brown. The Horton stuff is fun, but I don't know. I'm willing to say that the third receiver in Seattle and a team that might run a lot of 12, I don't know. It could be. I could have just not taken the next Puka Nacua on the team to take Dyami Brown, and Horton is a bring back to Tennessee. No, Horton's a bring back to Carolina. So that's not actually an issue. But yeah, I don't know. I still think Dyami Brown is just going to be on the field like a lot. So we'll add some of these late running backs here, and then we'll get on out. Sounds interesting. I am no good at BR game theory if it isn't the golf. Greg, I am not. I've been very. I'll blame it on luck. I'll say I've been kind of unlucky with my golf BRs. That has not gone particularly well for me. I don't know. I don't like that the format is only one day, and I usually only do like a couple drafts. So sometimes if the guy you need is in the top 5 and you like don't get them, then you're done. And that's true for regular BRs, like NFL BRs. There's cases, there's weeks where if you don't have the 101, you lose. Like it's happened before. And it's Fantasy Dog Pound last year gave the numbers, and it was really interesting. I wish I remembered them. Next time I talk to him, I'll have to ask, because it was a really interesting stat of how frequently battle royales were won by the one hole, and it was a like mathematically significant amount of times that happened. So it is a fun game. Again, you don't have to max it to like have a good time or play it. But it is nice to like at least be able to get the player combinations you want. Like, you know, if you only do one BR, like you're only going to get one of the like, you know, top 6 players. Like, you know, you run 10 or 20, you at least can have had a chance to like get everybody, is how I think. Like, you know, I don't think it's necessary to max the contest to like have a good time. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you can't guarantee profit in any of these games, but you know, it's it is a fun format, and the drafts go very quickly. Greg says stoked for full golf weekend contest. Surprised they didn't do something for the FedEx playoffs. Yeah, I heard Underdog was adding full week golf, and then I haven't heard anything in a while. But it does sound like that might be coming down the pike. Let's see what J-Dubs has added since then. He took Dowdle and Coker. I like both those clicks. I like the Coker click quite a bit. I think at 201. He's a pretty heavy value there. And let's see who he takes with his last selection. J-Dubs winds the clock. He thinks about it. He takes Will Shipley. So interesting. He takes 7 running backs. Will Shipley certainly would have been a guy I would have considered there. Ollie Gordon and Marshawn Lloyd. I think, okay. So unfortunately, Manungai would have been who I had taken. I actually didn't notice him when I took Woody Marks. I would have taken Manungai on my Caleb team, but that's okay. I've queued up some of my dudes here. I don't know if this is the exact order I will draft in. I might lean Ollie Gordon on this team. I do have Tua and Tyreek. I don't expect Ollie Gordon to have any kind of pass catching role, but I do think there's a reasonable chance he gets the goal line job. So with that, we're gonna take Ollie Gordon. This team is a 3-6-7-2 with Caleb Williams, Tua, and Cam Ward. Running back room of Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, Ja'Cory Krotsky-Merritt, Woody Marks, and Ollie Gordon. A wide receiver room of Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, Michael Pittman Jr., QJ, and Diami Brown, and then Travis Kelce and Loveland on holding it down. Goals Cards asks, am I on the Pierce steam? I am kind of Pierce curious. CLV on Shipley, too good to pass there. Hartman says, one thing I've wondered on BRs, there are a good mid-range of entries. I feel like if you go up to 90, it's almost bad because you need a good outcome to pay off already. I don't know if that makes sense. Hartman, I'm actually going to think about that. I do want to think about that and get back to you, because I think that's a really interesting point. The week, I don't mean to go back to this, the week I won the BR, I had 22 entries. So maybe I was in that sweet spot of not a ton, but not like cannibalizing yourself, but then not maxing. So I don't want to immediately agree, but I kind of almost wonder, if you're onto something. But everyone, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. I had a really fun stream. I think we had a couple of great drafts. If you can, on your way out, hit the like and the subscribe. I know Davis is going to be drafting a big dog at 10, so I'm going to head over and watch that myself. But again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.